Hello, everybody. David Dilling here from Markzware. Today we have one of our customers on the line, Daytona Swarbrick. I hope I said your name correctly, Daytona.
You did. Thank you, David.
Excellent. Daytona's in South Africa. He's originally Canadian, but I'll let him tell us all about that. And before we get into the company you work for, maybe you could tell us a bit more about yourself and how you got into graphic design.
Sure. Thanks, David. My name is obviously an American name, Daytona. And my dad, he really loved muscle cars, and he wanted this Dodge Daytona Heavy. And instead he got me, but that was my introduction to the world. But my introduction to graphic design came through working with a friend as a volunteer radio DJ. We would get together on a Saturday night, when from midnight until 3 a.m. we would go live, and then have a pre-recorded thing until 6 a.m. So this is the time when nobody's listening, and so we took every opportunity we could to say, how can we develop this show that we were doing? We wanted to do video, we wanted to do graphic design, we wanted to do all of these things. And so, having played around a little bit with Pro Tools, I found that some of the programs that I was looking at for design had a very similar feel. And so I was mostly self-taught, but I did take the opportunity as well to go take some classes at some of the local art colleges and technical colleges as well, just to get a footing so that I could carry on with my own study as well.
Right. Right. And how did you end up from Canada in South Africa?
Yeah, that's a big step. So,
big climate step.
The climate's it's much hotter here. Even now it's winter, and the sun is hot during the day. Of course, when the sun goes down, it gets cool too. Yeah. But the way that we ended up here was. My wife and I, when we first got married, we talked about wanting to go see the world, go do something, go and help people that are less privileged than we were. And so having been married for a little while, we were, doing the things that people do and trying to grow in our jobs and the things that we were doing. And so we kind of forgot about that for a little while. But my wife was a teacher, and she taught a unit on Africa. And she came home and she was like, you know what? We got to go. We got to do this thing. And so it only took 7 years for us to actually get up and leave Canada. But we decided that we were going to find an organization that we could come and volunteer with here in Africa. And we came for a year, and it's 9 years later. We're still here.
Amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic. And yeah, you've been a customer of Markzware's for years, but right. So yeah, and you work. You came over to Africa with the organization Hands at Work. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we looked for a long time to find an organization because we didn't want to come with an organization where we were going to take somebody else's job. We were very purposeful about looking for a place where can we go all hands together. And so. And it just seemed to tick all the boxes of what we wanted to do for work and ideologically and all of that stuff. And a big part of what we were coming for as well was part of the heart of our faith as well. And so coming to be a part of an organization that was a faith-based organization was a big part of that call as well.
Excellent. It's a Christian-based charity that helps. Well, maybe you can tell us what does handsatwork.org, what does your charity do exactly?
Yeah, so we actually have international offices as well in Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, and one that's sort of burgeoning in Germany as well. Okay. And so it's a worldwide organization, but what we do is very focused on Africa. And so what we do is we go to communities where there isn't already aid being offered into those communities. Sometimes those are slums, like in the city of Mutare in Zimbabwe. Sometimes it's far off the tar road as you can get, the paved road, and we'll go to these places, and often there is a church already in these communities. And we say to the church, there's people in your community here who are vulnerable. In fact, most of them are vulnerable. But there's absolutely a layer of widows and orphans and some others that are the most vulnerable.
Right.
We say the poorest of the poor are the most vulnerable. And so we want to help those ones. So we set up care points in these communities as well with the help of the local church and the volunteers within the community that come and say, yeah, we want to be a part of this because it's good for our kids. Many of the care workers that work there grew up the same as the kids that we're helping as well.
Wow.
And so then, of course, we invite the churches worldwide as well to say, this is not just something for us to do, or for the church and us to do, but for the church worldwide to be a part of this.
Right.
And so that's what Hands at Work is actively doing. And so there's feeding that happens. There's relationship groups that happen, and all sorts of things that basic healthcare, basic education support, things that help develop these communities. So sometimes we say that they're off the ladder. They can't even reach the ladder sometimes.
Right.
And so the dream is to be able to get them on the ladder. But we know in some of these communities that we work, they're so far from the ladder. We'll be there for a very long time, just doing what we do just to support them.
Yeah. No, that's great. It's great work. It's an amazing country, Africa, but there's a lot of vulnerable people, like you said, and it's great. It sounds like a great organization. I known you guys for years through being a Markzware customer, and always good to see you doing the work down there. So, and I like your logo too. I'll put the webpage up here later for the folks to see, and I'll put a link down below. People can check out handsatwork.org themselves.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Absolutely. Well, maybe now you could tell us, Daytona, how you first heard about Markzware and how Hands at Work got involved with Markzware.
Yeah, gosh, it seems like a while ago now that we got in contact.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I don't remember. It might have been a Google search that was the initial. Just because there's so many times when through the course of your work where you just think there's got to be a tool for this, and so finding Markzware on the web, it seemed like this was a godsend, really, because I definitely had some troubles early on that Markzware was the absolute solution for.
Right.
And so I've been very happy with Markzware since then.
Oh, excellent. Maybe we should, you're an InDesign, you're an Adobe InDesign user, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So I spend most of my day in the Adobe suites, whether that be producing videos or podcasts or Photoshop or design or InDesign for layouts as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you have a nice varied day. You never,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
actually, if you're going to be in this line of work, it's an ideal position to have, because we get so many different jobs to do, and you get to have your hands in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I could imagine. So, right, because what Daytona was using, for, like you said, for years now, is PDF to DTP. That was our original PDF to InDesign plugin. In the meantime, we switched it to the new, let's say, sister product, which is taking over or phasing out PDF DTP, and that's called PDFMarkz.
Sorry, that's the birds.
Yeah. I thought first, is that your child? But no, that's the birds. Okay, yeah. What kind of bird was that? What kind?
It's called a hadada, and they make this noise when they fly. It's like, ah, ah, ah.
I love birds, but I've never heard of a hadada.
Oh.
And
they're kind of ugly, but yeah, have a look.
All right, cool. Right, so Daytona was more than welcome to try out the new PDFMarkz once. Yeah, that's now the new product for PDF to InDesign, which does a lot more than just to InDesign. But in any event, yeah, maybe you could tell us a bit more about your experience with PDFMarkz, how the transition went and how it works for you.
Yeah, so some of the things that I was using the PDF to DTP before was that I had a hard drive crash, and
yeah,
everybody knows that really sucks. And if you're trying to piece things together from what files you have, you've got a PDF here, or you've gotten it from somebody else that you sent it to. Being able to turn that back into an InDesign file is invaluable.
Yeah, so all you have left is that PDF. Yeah.
Yeah, and old documents. If another office creates something and they save it as a PDF, and you think, well, we'll need to use that for make a proper design out of that, we can open that in Illustrator. And our U.S. office is actually not using Adobe Suite; they're using Affinity.
Yeah.
And so Affinity opens IMDL, I think, but they can't open the INDD file.
Right.
And so that was another saving grace as well, being able to communicate well with them. So one of the things that I used it for recently is we had a brochure that we had created, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. We decided that we're just gonna put it aside and not work on that anymore. And our team leader will tell you that I'm a little bit delete happy sometimes. If there's something that doesn't need to be used, then sometimes it goes missing, which is absolutely a flaw.
Yeah.
But if you're not using a file for a long time and you decide that it's probably not going to get used, and you delete it, and then somebody comes back and says, hey, we need this file, it's amazing to be able to open it. And so I did that recently with one of our brochures, and it was just going to be a small print guy with a trifold. I had a PDF, but I didn't have the original document. And I was amazed when I opened it up with Mark's PDF that the bleeds were still there. It was like I was opening the InDesign file. The text all landed where it was supposed to go, and everything was in the right place.
Yeah.
And so I was so thankful to have that.
Wow, awesome.
So a product like this is amazing. Thank you, David, for Markzware.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you to our engineers, and because I just interact with the customers, and it's a very thankful job because the engineers at Markzware do an amazing job. Like you said. So the new PDFMarkz, do you find it easier to use than what you before? Was it easy to switch over?
It was super easy. So in InDesign, there was let's see if I'm just looking at InDesign right now, and there's right at the top of the menu. I'm on a Mac, and so right in my menu bar at the top, there's it says Markzware. And I click on that, and it says Convert PDF Document.
Right.
And so it's easy as that, but you don't even have to go into that.
Right, with the new product. Yeah.
Was really cool. I like that about it as well. So I could just grab something from my desktop and drag it down to my taskbar and drop it on Mark's PDF, and it'll open up a preview window which has some great information on it, and then of course you can send it to InDesign or a few other options as well. Right,
exactly. By the way, just as a side note, we also have a product called IDMarkz, which will take InDesign files and preview them just like PDFMarkz, but then we'll open them via IDML in Affinity Publisher for your US office. So you might want to ask them to check it out. And do you ever use PDFMarkz for just getting out because PDFMarkz also extracts images? Do you ever use it just to get at the images inside a PDF?
Definitely. I know everybody's done this before, where they put a PDF on your screen and enlarge it as big as you can, and then take a screenshot.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's not the way you want to do things. It's so much better to have the original. So it's kind of the equivalent of putting a tape recorder up next to the radio to catch your favorite songs so that you can listen to them over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not super ideal, but being able to open it in PDFMarkz and be able to get the images out of there, that's a lifesaver as well, because there's so many documents that we've used over the years, whether it's reporting and we have pictures of care points, or maybe there's a child in there that we wanted to highlight their story, then we can get the original photo out of there instead of having somebody have to say, well, no, I just took a screenshot of it, and this is the best I could get.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, excellent. So I always ask this to everybody I interview. Would you recommend PDFMarkz for people considering purchasing it?
100%. I think it works so well. I've never had a PDF that I've tried to open that it didn't work, and I'm always able to get the result that I'm looking for from Markz PDF. And from your previous versions, 100% recommend it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We'd love to hear that. And I think that's a good place to close off. Anything else you want to say before we sign off here at Daytona?
I was just thinking, if anybody is in a position where they're doing this kind of work and they're looking for tools, and if they're considering PDFMarkz, or the alternative of just trying your best to scrabble a piece together, it's no question that you'll get better results with. You definitely get better results with Markz PDF.
Wow.
And so I absolutely encourage everybody that is doing this sort of work to work with Markz PDF.
Thank you. Yeah, excellent. And like you sound like a very busy person with video, brochures, all these different things. It's you don't want to spend all your time recreating when you could just click a button and pretty much get it, and rework it a little bit and be done.
Yeah, and an organization like the one I'm working with here is we try to do all of this kind of stuff on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
Because we want the money that comes into handsatwork to be going to the community. To the kids that need it, to the grannies that need our support, and we don't want to be spending all of our time and energy doing things that could be more efficient and get the job done better.
Right.
And so Markz PDF really fits that bill as well. Excellent.
On that note, we also do offer discounts for charities, for registered charities. So just email us on sales@markzware.com and let us know if you're a registered charity, and send us your link that certifies out of the paperwork, and we'll get you I think it's a 40% off discount. So that'll help charities out there, because charities are really important, because not everybody is able to do certain things without aid. It's just a fact of life. So it's good that charities like Hands at Work and whatever other charity. So we offer these discounts. And for anybody else out there, whether you're a printer or publisher, we'll also get you a discount. Just email us on sales@markzware.com, mention the video, mention Daytona, and we'll get you a special coupon, maybe Daytona 15% off or something. So what was it, a 69 Dodge? Or
Yeah, that's right.
So that was a good story. But well, excellent. Well, Daytona, I got down to Africa a couple of years ago. I didn't get to South Africa, but I was in Tanzania, and I learned a good saying for anybody curious about what it's like down in Africa. I wish I would have went a lot earlier, but there was one picture I saw on the resort wall, and it was a quote from Eliot. If you only visit 2 continents in your lifetime, visit Africa twice. So, and it really stuck with me, because obviously you've went for a year and you're still there 9 years later. So it must be just amazing.
Yeah. You know what? There's a saying that's a famous saying here in South Africa as well, that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so
there you go.
Thank you for the partnership that we've had over the years as well. Being able to go together has really covered a lot of distance.
Well, our pleasure. You're doing great work, and charitable work, and followers of Jesus. Always good to hear. And yeah, have a great success. We'll talk to you. We talk to you about every year, so we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you, David, and we'll be praying for Markzware as well, for the company and for you.
Oh, thank you very much. We could always use that, and likewise, God bless, and thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care.
All right.